We're back here on the Riverhawks Media Network. Dowell gets the ball, heads left, heads to the right. He breaks a couple of tackles, and he could go. He's to the 20, to the 10. Could go all the way for a Boonies Riverhawks touchdown.
Man, I'm hungry.
And what's this, folks? Change of events as Dowell is off the field. Looks like he's on Iowa Avenue in Muscatine. I think he said something about being hungry. He crosses the street. He jumps the curb. Oh, look no further. He's at Boonies on the Avenue. Let's head inside.
What's a pizza?
That is an MVP play, and you could be the MVP of your team at home by heading to Boonies on the Avenue in Muscatine. A family restaurant with over 27 big screen TVs, daily food and drink specials to cater the needs of any sports fan, from a rookie to a Hall of Famer. Looking for a night out or a place to watch the big game? Look no further than Boonies on the Avenue, located at 214 Iowa Avenue in Muscatine, or by phone at 563-263-0626. Boonies on the Avenue, proud sponsors of Muscatine Riverhawks football. If you are looking for a place for fellowship and worship with great people, look no further than River City Church, welcoming those small walks of life and faith with 2 Sunday services at 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. in Moline and 10 a.m. in Milan. More information can be provided by calling 309-764-5685 or 309-558-0065. River City Church, proud sponsors of the Muscatine River. The Riverhawks Media Network is looking forward to bringing you, the fans, nonstop football action here this 2021 season. But we are also excited to bring you a way to get involved in the action and support a great cause all season long. The Muscatine Riverhawks, in partnership with the Riverhawks Media Network, are proud to bring the season-long donations with our partners of the Ronald McDonald House Charities of Eastern Iowa and Western Illinois. The Riverhawks have committed to donating as a team every time the defense gets a sack, turnover, touchdown, or safety. We are asking you, the fans, to get involved in this great organization that assists families with sick children stay close to each other and provide care and resources when they need it most. So while you support the team on the field, come support our team in donating to this great cause. More information can be provided across all of our social media platforms or by visiting gf.me/u/ZPNWMM. Thank you, the fans, for all the support you've given the Muscatine Riverhawks over the last 5 years.
The following broadcast is a production of the Riverhawks Media Network and is property of the Muscatine Riverhawks. Any reproduction or retransmission of this broadcast without the expressed written consent of Muscatine Riverhawks football is strictly prohibited.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 10 of Riverhawks Weekly. Your play-by-play announcer, Tyler Bean, alongside former Monmouth College wide receiver and college graduate Jake Landry. Jake, happy Monday, brother.
Happy Monday. I mean, it is Monday, but we're talking football. Let's get to it.
Well, hey, and it's also Thursday, technically, for our viewers, as our podcasts have moved to Thursday nights.
Yeah.
Be sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms for updates. We just figure this time of the year, give our production guy, Troy Hippen, an extra day to make things look pretty. And, yeah, we're here to talk some football, and it starts with the rundown presented by the Nutrition Outlet. Recaps of yesterday's games all across the MAAFL. Burlington falling to the Quad City Nighthawks falling to Burlington 48-27. Burlington gets their first win of the year. MST took on Effingham County yesterday and won 48-37. The Peoria Punishers defeated the Clark County Chiefs in a rout 70-0 and moved to 5-0. Clark County still without a win. The Midwest Hawks win in the SCO forfeit and move to 6-0, stay undefeated 2-0. And then, of course, our game here, who we covered yesterday here on the Riverhawks Media Network, all over TST in West Point, Iowa, moved to 3-2 on the year in a 57-0 rout. Partner, any games outside of the Riverhawks game yesterday that really stuck out?
Well, MST, of course, that score right there, 48-37, that looks like an entertaining game there.
Sure.
But as the playoff picture starts to close in, things are beginning to form a little clearer. We're kind of getting an idea of who's not going to be in and who's going to be in. It's starting to heat up because we'll get to the playoff picture in a minute, but MST is 4-1, as well as Peoria with 5-0, and Midwest Hawks on the bye week with the folding 6-0. So we got a pretty good idea of who might be in that top 2, top 3 or picture, but that fourth place spot is definitely up for grabs, and we could see a lot of shifts in that coming this way.
Yeah, 100%, and I didn't mention our opponent next week, the Central State Savages, the one team on an official bye that wasn't due to a folded win, and we'll take them on next week. As my partner just mentioned, it's an opportunity for us to introduce a new segment that we'll have here over the next few weeks on the Riverhawks Media Network, and this is why you do it. This is why everyone plays. It's for playoff positioning. It's the playoff picture presented by Badlands Fitness. The Midwest Hawks at the top at 6-0, followed by the Punishers, the Savages, the Mid-State Thunderbirds that you just mentioned at 4-1, the Riverhawks at 3-2, Effingham County, Burlington, and the Quad City Nighthawks, who hold the tiebreaker over the Tri-State Timberwolves at 1-5. Round out the 8 playoff teams. Now remember, there are technically 11 teams. The SCO games for every team does count as a forfeit win, so keep that in mind, something that we'll have to touch on later on in the year. We'll have to see what teams are getting that SCO forfeit by, along with ourselves here in just a couple of weeks. Rounding out the in the hunt / not quite in the dance, the Tri-State Timberwolves, who fell yesterday to Muscatine, fall to 1-4. They do hold the tiebreaker over the Clark County Chiefs. That is their one win. Clark County being 0-5, and then SCO 0-6. Partner, if the playoffs started today, if the season ended today, here would be your 4 matchups heading into the round 1 playoff weekend. The number 8 Quad City Nighthawks taking on the top-seeded Midwest Hawks. The number 7 Burlington Express taking on number 2-seeded Peoria Punishers. The number 6-seeded Effingham County Storm would travel to Springfield, Decatur, and would take on the Central State Savages. And then your 4-5 matchup, the Muscatine Riverhawks taking on the Mid-State Thunderbirds. Partner, again, this is why we do it. This is what we're looking forward to. Hopefully the Riverhawks well in the mix in terms of home positioning. And like I said, the top 8 teams get in. The top 4 seeds get that pivotal home playoff game. I know, us rounding out the year at MST, I would sure hate to have to drive back to Bloomington the consecutive weekend. Again, there's no breaks after that last week of the year. Teams that are in will play week in and week out until we get a championship game in mid-July. Partner, anything stand out in those 4 critical playoff games if the season ended today?
Well, if you're a team like the Riverhawks or the Thunderbirds, you're looking to win out. There is no room for error, because if you want that home field advantage, you have no choice but to win out, because this is a tight race right now.
Yep.
We're looking at the Riverhawks hopefully marching in next week and getting a win against Central State Savages. If they could get that win, that puts them in great position to knock them into that top 4. But right now they're teetering on that line to where we might not get another game in Muscatine this season. And I know for a fact, if you're playing the playoffs, you don't want to travel. Your only focus has to be on the game that's coming up. You know where you're going to be. You know what to expect, especially with the turf field and all these other. You just don't want to have to worry about how you're going to get to the game if it's somewhere else. So big thing here for the Riverhawks and every other team out there that's not the Midwest Hawks or the Peoria Punishers, honestly, is win out so we don't have to go travel that week 1 game.
Yeah, having a home playoff game, especially in semi-pro football where everyone's got, families and kids and jobs, having to worry about who's riding with who. We know for a fact, we've seen it, that depth changes when you're a road team versus a home team. And just a couple of more notes, the Central State Savages we got this weekend, they're the 3 seed right now, so they're in a good spot. MST's played well. You've got them on the schedule. Another note, number 1 and number 2 actually play this weekend. That will be one of the biggest games, I think, in my opinion, in terms of, 2 top teams going for home field advantage throughout. And I'm sure that the Midwest Hawks and the Punishers firmly believe that they will be there in mid-July for a championship game. So if you're Muscatine, it's all gas, no brakes. We've talked about it on podcasts. We've talked about it on games. We've, Eric Johnson and Kyle Bass, Greg Ford, they all know that that's, Alan O'Toole, they all know that that's truly the motive here for Muscatine. So they will head to Decatur next weekend and look to take on a Central State Savages team coming off of a bye, very rested, ready to go. This is going to be probably as big of a game as the Peoria and Midwest Hawks game. Both, I'm sure, everyone will have their eyes on in terms of how things shake out. So we'll bring that section of our podcast to you every week until the playoffs start before our playoff preview here in a few short weeks. So let's move to our recap of last week's game. And wow, partner, what a game yesterday was.
Absolutely. A dominant defensive performance, and that's literally the only way you could put it. Some statistics for you real quick. 4 pick sixes on 6 interceptions and a fumble recovery with Lord knows how many sacks. That defensive line was in the backfield all day. Credit to them for applying the pressure. They had 4 quarterback changes throughout that game, which is something I've never really seen in a game. But TST just did not want any of it. So on the season, completely dominant season from the defense so far this year, even with those rough first 3 weeks when the offense was coming up a little short. Speaking of offense, not much to talk about there. They were on the field for a total of maybe 5 plays. But on the season for the defense, 13 interceptions, 8 fumble recoveries, 14 sacks, 7 touchdowns, and 3 safeties with another impressive statistic, 4.2 turnovers per game with 2.8 sacks per game. You're just getting absolute perfect productivity from your defense week in and week out. Back-to-back goose eggs, 3 shutouts on the season. What more can you ask for from this defense?
Hey, what more could you ask for, and what more could you ask for in terms of donations to the Ronald McDonald House Charities of Eastern Iowa and Western Illinois, providing love and support to families with sick children in need it the most? I know you dreamt about that one last night because I said it a lot yesterday.
Way too much.
The Riverhawks in total this year have donated $505 so far with games left to go, games in hand. So again, you'll see the commercials here on our podcast and during our live stream games if you want to consider matching a certain portion of that total to donate to this good cause. I have earlier on this year, and you should consider also. It's a great organization and a great charity. We're happy to do that for them. Just some other things, some news of note. Dalton McCarty leads the team with 6 sacks. He could be potentially, if he gets 4 more, the first player in Riverhawks team history with double-digit sacks on the year. So Dalton, keep that up. 3 team shutouts is also the team record. Shea Mundine has 2 defensive touchdowns, 2 onside recoveries, 2.5 sacks, and $140 of that 505 is due to Shea Mundine. So Shea, keep up the work as well. You did also mention the fact that the offense, nothing against them. They were out in a very minuscule role. They scored early and often on drives. Tyler Newsom had a pretty perfect first half and got to relax. Our DMVUN player of the game, Ario Greer, had 2 scores, one on offense, one on defense. So I think all in all, partner, when you're looking at it over the last couple weeks, they've really had a pretty easy go of it, and that's something that when we preview the Savages here later on in the show, going to be a different story in Springfield and Decatur. It's a very, very stout group in Decatur, and you're not going to get it that easy there.
Absolutely not. And that's the one bad thing about games like this. You have a blowout game for 1 week and you think, all right, that was fun, that was nice, we padded some stats, let's get out there and play a real game. I don't want to say no disrespect to the past 2 teams we've played, but the scoreboard just shows it has not been exactly a tough going for this team the last 2 weeks. You have back-to-back weeks like this. Complacency is your biggest enemy because it could possibly give you false confidence like, oh, yeah, we're here, this is us. But you did what you're supposed to do against a team like this. You put up big numbers. Your defense shut them down. You didn't let them score. You did your job. Pat yourself on the back, but realize, next week we're going to have to bring everything we got to the table because this is not going to be like the last 2 weeks out down there in Central Illinois.
Yeah, big time, and we know the Savages at 4-1, holding that number 3 spot. MST behind them at 4-1. The Riverhawks, it's almost a must-win if you're thinking about having a home playoff game.
It is a must-win.
It is a must-win game.
Every game is a must-win until playoffs from here on out.
Well, till the championship, really. If this team's got championship aspirations, losing is not the option. But on the bright side, partner, I do want to mention the fact that a lot of players got some time off over the last couple weeks. Did what they had to do earlier on in the game. Then once the running clock hit, guys had a lot of time that don't get a whole lot of reps in terms of getting on the field. They got to show out a little bit also, and that's good. I think in terms of that, combined with the SCO bye here in a couple of weeks, I think it's going to pay dividends to have this chunk of the schedule be a little bit easier. But like you said, there's no room for losing. It's got to happen. This same production from the defense, the offense, you're going to get stonewalled. I think you have to recognize the fact that you're going to play tougher competition, and that's coming on the schedule with the Central State Savages and the Mid-State Thunderbirds. So other than that, I think we wrapped out one up. It's another win in the win column. Eric Johnson and company moved to 3-2 on the year. Currently number 5 in the playoff positioning moving forward. So I think we're going to talk to some members of that highly touted Riverhawks defense here after a quick short break. We'll be right back here on the Riverhawks Media Network. All-American Diner, the leading restaurant serving Muscatine County and surrounding areas since 2020, serving breakfast all day as well as lunch and dinner. They offer a fish fry every Friday and a buffet on the weekends. For your next meal, visit All-American Diner in Muscatine or call for more information at 563-263-2224. All-American Diner, proud sponsors of Muscatine Riverhawks. Looking to level up your game this offseason or take care of your body mid-season for that late-season playoff push? Then Badlands Fitness is the place for you. Badlands Fitness is the Quad Cities' choice for elite athletic training for athletes of all ages, all sports, and levels. Contact them at 309-617-6416. Badlands Fitness, proud sponsors of Muscatine Riverhawks football.
Holler's Bar and Grill. Food to drool over and entertainment to make you dance. This is what you would imagine in a Quad Cities bar, and Holler's Bar and Grill is just the place to have it. Serving happy hour every day from 3 to 5 p.m. with daily drink and food specials. They also deliver. Contact them at 309-277-9028. Holler's Bar and Grill, proud sponsors of Muscatine Riverhawks football.
And welcome back here on the Riverhawks Media Network, joined by not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 guests of the Riverhawks defense: Josh Wilson, Kevin Dowell Jr., Wesley Stewart, and Javon Manard. Guys, thanks for taking the time to join us today.
Great win yesterday. Obviously, defense dominated. That was fun to watch from our perspective, especially if you're a defensive-minded person. So how are y'all feeling after this game? How are y'all staying focused after 2 weeks of playing 2 opponents that are, not exactly the same caliber as y'all? How are y'all staying focused after 2 weeks of that?
I feel like staying focused when it comes to technique the past 2 weeks has been the main focus for our defense. Any team in this league, I'll say if it's not a first year organization team, we always go in not worried about them, worried about us, because no disrespect and no shots at any team that's their first year starting, but we all been in that position of being on a team where it's their first year starting and not doing so well. But I'll say staying focused is trying to get better and be thinking about the better opponents that we got coming up. I know for a fact that we all got this next game circled on our calendar. So that's the main focus right now. It's just staying focused and working on our technique and staying in shape.
Yep, of course, tough one coming up. We'll get more into that later. But I guess games like that is where you get to work on that technique. Maybe if you learn something new, like a new, way to defend an opponent or a new route combo if you're a receiver, that's your chance to test it. So that's good to hear.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I guess to kind of follow that up yesterday early on, you guys were pretty much in the zone the entire game. We already laid the stats out from yesterday and for the whole year, especially over the last couple of weeks. You guys have been one of the top performing defenses in the league. I guess yesterday there was a point in time where the defense really, had a little bit of a lost yardage there. TST was driving. I remember guys like Emmanuel Hamilton pointing at the head like, hey, focus in, because it was, pretty relaxed for most of the day. When you guys hit those walls, especially against tougher competition, what do you guys tell each other to kind of refocus back in? Is there any verbiage that you guys bring to the table to say, hey, we got to really retool this and bring this back together? Obviously keeping it PG-13, of course.
I'm big on that. I'm always big on telling people, refresh, just refresh. It's just that simple. Like, there's nothing else to say other than refresh. I need you the next play. Because they're going to try you the next play. If you walk around with your head down, that's a target. So refresh, we got you. Let's go. That's it. That's all I say. That's all it is. Refresh.
Well, and, we know football is as close to a mental game as it is a physical, is it not?
I say it's 90% mental, 10% physicality. One thing that helps about our defense is that we all rock with each other offside the field. So, like, when you got somebody like Vu coming, like I'll say, the first series of the game, defense went on, and I think we gave up a catch. It was like a spectacular catch. Dude, like over like 3 people. And that one catch, I got probably lost, but it was like 2 other people around. But all I needed was that y'all need to take this seriously and reset. And I feel like after that, it was a shutout from the first series of the game when we right there we was playing around. That right there, that first quarter, when we already kind of knew we had them in the bag because we scored on the first play. So we kind of knew what type of game it was going to happen. But like I said, though, like when you have people on your defense that actually rock with each other, not just for the cameras, not just for, like, we actually care for each other. Like, I think that has a lot to do with the expectations we hold accountable for each other, because I'm not trying to let him down or him down. I'm not trying to let none of my teammates down. So all I need is Vu to just tell somebody to get right. We all go get right. So.
Sure, right on, and that'll be important heading down the stretch.
Yeah, the greatest defenses of all time, Legion of Boom, Monsters of the Midway, they all had that swagger to them, and that's probably what made them those great defenses. So going off of that, how is the defense's confidence right now? How is the team's confidence? How is the defense's confidence? Because 2 weeks, back-to-back shutouts, 3 shutouts on the season. How are y'all feeling about it?
I'll say we pretty pumped up right now. We lit. You feel me? I love our defense because we got a lot. We're going to leave out there on the field, and we're going to apply pressure to anybody, that want it, We play as a team. We play together. I'll say very disciplined. I've just seen a lot of people being very disciplined, and I just love going out there, just playing for each other. Of course. But yeah, I don't see no one getting in the way of this defense. Like, it's tough.
Yeah, you say discipline, and of course that's very important. But I mean, y'all are out there having fun, man. Y'all look like y'all are playing JFL football, Pop Warner football. I like seeing that because that's also what makes for a good team. So I hope to see more of that coming on in the next few weeks.
Yeah, big time, 100%. And of course, me and Jake, we see you guys vibing and staying lit, as you like to say. We like that in the broadcast booth as well. We're trying to display the product you guys are putting on the field. I like to get jiggy with it up in the broadcast tent every now and then. So keep bringing that same energy, and I'm going to bring it right back. My next question for you guys as a defense, obviously the last couple weeks, this whole season, you guys have really had it locked down pretty tight. The best defenses also know what needs to be fixed. And without giving too much away, what are maybe some things maybe you guys individually as players or just as a team defense need to work on to really harp down? Because you do have the Savages coming up. That's a very big matchup. And MST's 4-1 on the year. They're showing to be a strong team as well. So, it's not necessarily, the lightest part of the schedule here heading down the stretch. You do have the SEO bye, but what things can you guys hem up here over the last few weeks to get ready for that playoff push?
I'll say the past 2 games has been goose eggs. So one thing I know that this defense always does is we always try to go back and look at stuff that we can work on and stuff like that, because we're all not perfect. So I'll say one thing that I feel like that we all just need to just kind of like not fall apart. This team has been through two of the best records in the team and stuff like that. I'll say that it was honestly a defense battle. the defense really took over the game when they went against the Peoria Punishers. And, you know, until like the Midwest Hawks had them until like the last second because of like, you know, some when we had our offensive issues and stuff like that. So we all know that we're rolling on that right now. So I'll say one thing that this defense has to do is stick together. And that's one thing it's going to break, because when you're down in the first quarter, like they was against the Peoria Punishers, I don't care who came in for the Peoria Punishers defense to come back and put up that many points. That should be scary towards anybody that got to come to us now, because now our offense is rolling. So you have a defense that's not going to, they was rolling our offense. Now we all rolling together. So one thing I feel like we all need to do is just stick together, and that's it. Because we all hungry. We all, if you watch our film, we all hungry. Everybody getting to the ball when we need, like when it's time. And I know for a fact, we really hungry for this Sunday, because we know we're going to get some good backs. We know we all got to get there. We got some monsters on that line. We got some monsters in our linebacker positions, and our DBs are definitely ready, because we all locked in. So one thing I can say is that it's going to be hard to beat the Riverhawks right now, because the Riverhawks have a chip on our shoulder. We never started off the way our record has never started off the way it is now. So one thing I say is going to be hard to break this team right now.
Yeah, big time. I think Eric's Coach Eric's big thing that we've talked about is, you know, obviously having that character and that fortitude to get up off the canvas after you've been hit. Make no mistake about it, the competition in this league increases every year. Not every game is going to be a 57-0, 60-0 type battle. So it's good to hear that the defense is, you know, staying locked in. And when you face those challenges, you got each other to back each other up, refresh, reset. And so we're looking forward to seeing that here this Sunday and moving forward.
Yep, this Sunday. High-stakes game for y'all. And this is, you know, not just for the defense. Y'all are facing, like y'all said, good running backs, the DBs you said already, but a high-stakes game with playoff implications. What's it going to take for this entire team to drive down to Central Illinois and come out with a W? What's it going to take?
I would say follow up for West, sticking together. Yeah, staying focused, like Coach said. We're playing to develop as a team, not the team we're playing. So staying focused and stay on the course.
When you have a group of people who are on the same mission, we get together for practices. We already been talking about our traveling for this game already. We're not trying to miss anybody's. The crazy thing about it is the Riverhawks have not had their full team until this week. When we first started, they didn't have their starting quarterback. They didn't have their some veteran DBs. They didn't have certain keys. In the past 2 weeks, we also been dealing with some suspensions, you know, certain things like that. So I think this is the first week that we have everybody rolling. I'm pretty sure. So like I said, and you got one thing about this league that's hard to travel. That's one thing. When you beat a team like a team that we like the Quad City Nighthawks, a lot of the excuses was that they didn't have a lot of people there. So that's one thing that the Riverhawks for the past 3-4 years I've been playing with them, we always try to travel together, staying in hotels together, vans. We have great people that's not playing on the sideline that's helping us get to where we need to go. For the past few years has been helping us with everything we need to do. So I'll say that's like the main focus is just sticking together. And like I said, it's going to be a hard bond to follow. You got everybody on this team and nobody cares about egos. If I'm tired, best believe I'm going to call one of them to come in. I'm not going to sit there and just wait. I'm going to let somebody come in. And that's one thing I feel like is the biggest thing about our team. And if you haven't seen, I'm the one that talks the most. So.
No, not at all. We haven't noticed that. I haven't noticed that. Have you?
No, not at all. It's all good, though. I mean, a man who's confident in his team, it seems like all y'all are confident, ready to go. I'm super excited for this game because, like I said, it looks like we're having an offense versus defense battle for the Riverhawks. It's just going to be fun to watch. I'm excited to see how y'all handle that run game because that dominant defensive line that we've been seeing week in, week out. And like y'all said, y'all secondary, I mean, y'all got the numbers to prove it at the moment. It's going to be super fun to see these two teams dish it out.
Yeah, big time, 100%. I mean, me personally, you know, back when I coached, I can't recall Wes talking too much, so he's really come out of his shell there in that regard. And then, my last question for you guys here, obviously we were kind of spoiled there for the first few weeks of the year, getting a lot of home games. Obviously, we're pushing for a home playoff game, but we got to do business on the road. And so my question for you guys, and you can answer this individually or as a group, how do you guys handle the road games? I know Josh talked about staying in hotels, packing vans with people just to make sure everyone gets where they need to go. It's, it's a few-hour drive down to the Decatur area. So, how do you guys handle road games personally versus, the home games where the drive's a lot shorter?
Each other. That's it. Group size. Think about this team. We hold each other accountable, and we don't let that interfere with our personal relationships. That's one thing I rock with us. Like, me and Vu and Josh started on the team that was what? Terrible. and like I said, so to be with a team like that, to be with a team that's like the Muscatine Riverhawks, it's a huge difference. We like to communicate with each other, so we don't have any bad blood with each other. So that's one thing I can say. It's so many good relationships on the Riverhawks team. Then when you have a coach like the coach that we have, you get there. You don't want to upset this coach that we have. You know what I'm saying? So you don't want to upset him. First, get there. No excuse all the time too. And when you've been playing with him for so long, you got the amount of respect for him and all your teammates. So
owners and everybody.
Exactly. So when you have that type of team, I feel like it's real life more than just a football team. That's why the Riverhawks are always talked about. We are good or bad. We're always talked about because it's a bond over here that a lot of people want to be a part of. And that's nothing but facts. A lot of people want to be a part of this team because it's no egos. It's no, I'm number one. No, I'm number one. It's none of that over here. It's literally, we just trying to win. We're trying to win. Literally.
What'd you say? We heard him. That's all we do.
Yeah, literally.
Man, I tell you what, Wes mentioned Coach Eric Johnson, who's sitting to my left, and as I said, Coach, his chest popped up, glasses down, making sure you're saying good things about him. So, hey, listen, guys, always a pleasure having you on. Thank you so much for taking the time. And this is a reminder: every turnover, sack, and defensive score, we make a donation to the Ronald McDonald House Charities of Eastern Iowa and Western Illinois. I won't say anything else, Jake, for your sake. We keep telling Kyle, Sam, Melissa, and Eric to dig deep into their pockets. We're halfway to $1,000. You guys got a few more weeks of football, hopefully more, but we got to get that. We got to hit that 1,000 mark, so that way they got to write a nice check.
I just want to say one more thing before we leave. Just shout out to YouTube and shout out to Sam, Cal, Coach, James, all of y'all, because literally it would not be none of this would be possible if it wasn't for y'all. Thank y'all.
Well, thank you all very much. And, of course, Troy and Zach over there smiling at that, too.
Yep,
but we appreciate y'all.
Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate the time. All right, that's Wes Stewart, Javon Manard, Kevin Dowell Jr., and Josh Wilson, members of this highly touted Riverhawks defense that's heading in to Decatur this weekend to take on the Central State Savages. When we come back, you got a little chalk talk coming. We'll bring that back here on the Riverhawks Media Network in just a moment, folks. Travel accommodations for the Muscatine Riverhawks and the Riverhawks Media Network are provided by Enterprise Rent-A-Car, located at 3220 East 53rd Street, Suite A in Davenport. More information can be provided by calling 563-209-9631. Enterprise Rent-A-Car, proud sponsors of Riverhawks football.
Nutrition Outlet. If you are looking to maintain your health or get back in shape, Nutrition Outlet provides a wide variety of products and services, including biometric scanning, organic salon, detox sessions, emotional balancing, and natural health assessments. Contact them at 563-264-8124. Nutrition Outlet, proud sponsors of Muscatine Riverhawks football.
From maintaining that perfect smile to the most complex dental needs, Parkway View Family Dentistry is committed to providing you and your team with safe, gentle, and high-quality dental care. Sensitive to your needs, it is their goal to make you feel comfortable visiting their practice while providing the best possible care. Open 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. More information can be provided or schedule an appointment by calling 309-792-0513. Parkway View Family Dentistry, proud sponsors of Muscatine Riverhawks.
And welcome back to Chalk Talk, brought to you by All-American Diner. I'm your host, as always, color commentator Jake Landry. Yesterday was a highlight reel of a game for the Riverhawks, and sadly, due to the broadcast, which we apologize for, we were not able to get all the film that we could use. So I'm going to go ahead and show you two of my favorite plays from yesterday. Obviously, the defense had a heck of a day with, I believe, 4 pick sixes and 6 total interceptions and 1 fumble recovery like we covered earlier. But just an absolute dominant performance by them yesterday. All the credit to them. Sorry that I could not get all the highlights for Chalk Talk. But let me go ahead and break down one of the few offensive plays that we saw from the team yesterday. Tyler Newsome in at quarterback. And we did not get to see much offense. I believe there was 5 total offensive plays in the first half, maybe. But let's get right into it. Tyler Newsome back at quarterback and shotgun. Drops back, and he had plenty of time. I like the protection here, but there's a late blitz coming on the outside, but no problem here for Newsome. Calm, cool, collected, steps up into the pocket, keeps his eyes up, and hits his check down. Laji Diallo, get him into open space. He can make it happen right here. Hits the sideline on the far side. Easy walk-in touchdown for the Riverhawks. I mean, it was about as easy as you could get for an offense out there. There was not much to really talk about when it comes to that game for them, but next week they'll need to become prepared because Central State Savages definitely have more of an offense that's going to give them a chance to get out there on the field and make plays happen. Let's go ahead and move on to the next play here. One of my favorite plays of the day just because of how it ended, really. Shea Mundine, 2 interceptions on the day. Great performance by him yesterday. So not much to say here. Lots of pressure on the front line. Defensive line was applying pressure to that quarterback all day. 4 different quarterback changes for TST. So drops back to pass deep. Just gets the ball off. Tries to get the ball to his receiver deep. Shea Mundine right there for the floater interception with the return. I like it right here. Look, makes him misses a tackle. Breaks another tackle right here. And then this one right here almost gets him, but he reaches just for the touchdown, barely gets it. I'm pretty sure if they wouldn't have called that a touchdown, he would have gotten a lot of flack from that sideline. But nevertheless, it counts as a pick 6, 1 of 4 on the day for the defense. And that's all I have for you today. A nice, easy chalk talk for you. Not much to break down analytically, but it was just an outstanding performance by the defense. Super proud of this team for how they've been playing. They've been playing great all season. Can't wait to see next week's competition, though. It's going to be a much-needed challenge for this defense and the offense to get back into kick it back into gear after the 6 touchdown performance last week. That's all I have for you today. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Have some critters bugging you and your home team or business? Call the Bugman, the top quality pest control service in Muscatine. Services include tackling ants, bed bugs, bees, cockroaches, fleas or mites, hornets, wasps, home inspections, and so much more. Give them a call at 563-554-2847. The Bugman, proud sponsor of the Muscatine Riverhawks.
If you're in the Davenport area, check out the Dam View. Welcome to your favorite dive bar tucked away downtown. They host a wide range of beers, many of which are local, as well as daily specials, good service, and a large patio. Contact them at 563-324-4434. Proud supporters of the Muscatine Riverhawks.
The Quad City Insulators. With over a decade in home comfort, the Quad City Insulators exist to serve the needs of their homeowners, architects, farmers, and business owners. The amount of money that is wasted due to heating and cooling loss has created a strong demand for not only their superior products, but superior workmanship. They can be contacted at 309-373-0505 and are proud sponsors of the Muscatine River. Welcome back here on the Riverhawks Media Network. Tyler Bean, Jake Landry. Good talking to some of those guys on the defense yesterday. They seem to have everything put together, it seems like.
Of course, they're fired up and they're ready for this week, and I fully expect it to be, a more entertaining game, a little bit closer, and probably a bigger dogfight is definitely what I'm looking for.
Well, dogfight, and I think travel's going to play a big role. They did talk about guys getting vans, coming together. This is an aspect of semi-pro football that you just don't see in the collegiate or high school ranks. I mean, normally everyone travels as one, and to and from the games, stays in hotel rooms together, and they mentioned that as well. But I really do think when you talk about the MA8FL and the competitive teams, depth matters, and it's going to matter here over the final stretch of a couple of road games where they head to Decatur next week, and then after the SCO bye, they will head to Bloomington to take on MST. And I guess, looking at this preview of the Central State Savages, my understanding is that it's two teams formed into one from that Decatur and Springfield area. A lot of familiar faces. Eric Johnson was mentioning, off air, looks like we're going to be facing some very tall receivers, and I think that that's something that we haven't really seen a whole lot of this year thus far. How do you think we match up there?
Well, I mean, if against a tall receiver, it's all about playing technique. Sometimes a tall receiver is going to have slower footwork, but if you're a DB who knows what they're doing, and if you know how to be in the right place at the right time, that's how you just make that work. When you look at DBs like Patrick Peterson playing against Julio Jones, it's all about technique with him. He's making sure if he's pressing him on the line, he's not getting off the line quick enough. He's got to have quicker hands. He's got to have quicker footwork. That's what it's going to come down to. This is going to be a game where players are going to need to be very disciplined, and we talked about it earlier this year when there wasn't much discipline. We saw a lot of penalties. Last week, we didn't see too many penalties until people started getting a little more relaxed after that score started to get out of reach. I haven't seen as many penalties, so it's going to come down to discipline once again for this team, especially after we saw what happened when they started to lose discipline against the Midwest Hawks. That's how that comeback started to form, was lack of discipline. So for a game with playoff implications like this, everybody's got to stay focused because everybody has to do their job, stick to the technique, and that's how you're going to walk out of there with a victory.
Certainly, and I guess really quick, let's look to the offensive side of the ball. We talked about earlier in the broadcast, Muscatine's offense over the past couple weeks has almost been able to take a back seat, not necessarily in terms of production. The defense has just done a very good job at getting points. And so I think that there's a big challenge for the offense this week in terms of creating their own offensive production. Just give us some notes on how you think they can do that come Sunday.
Well, keep that balanced offense going. Strike hard with that run game, and that way you could strike hard with that passing game, because we've seen that passing game in action 2 weeks ago with Tyler Newsome under center. The running game itself, though, is going to have a chance to really kick it into gear this week. We haven't really seen too much from them in the last 2 weeks, but that's no fault to their own. It's just been how the game has been played the last 2 weeks. But that running game needs to be established. All of the deep running backfield that we have, get them going, and that opens up the play action. That sends the DBs back a little bit, or bring the DBs up. Everything just is going to fall into place for this offense if they play their game, this balanced form of offense that we've established in the last few weeks, and we'll finally get to see it in action against a defense that has been playing pretty solid. So I'm ready to see the fireworks, and that's all I can say about it.
You betcha, partner. When it comes to the offense, attack with the run game that sets up the pass game, and when you're talking defensively, technique, turnovers, scooping scores, find any way to win. Me personally, I think we're going to have a very, very competitive playoff-like atmosphere game this Sunday in Decatur. So if you're watching right now, the Quad City Insulators pregame show should be coming up here in just a few minutes. If you're watching on Thursday, the new date of our podcast, this Sunday at 1 o'clock, the Riverhawks take to the road in a highly touted matchup between the Riverhawks and the Central State Savages down in Decatur. So for my partner, Jake Landry, I am Tyler Bean signing off. We've got Riverhawks Savages coming up right here this Sunday on the Riverhawks Media Network.
Your Muscatine Riverhawks face the Central State Savages this Sunday at 2 o'clock at 2500 North 22nd Street, Decatur, Illinois. Riverhawks, Savages, right here on the Riverhawks Media Network.
If you're in the mood for some new ink, look no further than Pearl City Tattoo. Bill Kaufman opened Pearl City Tattoo in 2005 and has grown to be the most recommended tattoo shop in Muscatine, believing that every customer deserves the best experience possible, and they set the standard for communication, prompt scheduling, and transparent pricing. You have questions, you can reach out to Bill on Facebook and Instagram, or contact them at 563-263-7001, proud sponsors of Muscatine Riverhawks football. If you are looking for signs for your team or business, look no further than High Tech Signs and Apparel, a state-of-the-art full-service sign shop And from the clean and modern off-light shop to the latest technology in designing and producing signs, High Tech Signs has a sales staff of over 25 years experience to cater your every need. Services include large format digital printing, interior signage, exterior signage, vehicle solutions, and apparel. When it comes to solving the sign problems, the solution is High Tech Signs and Apparel. Located at 3359 Middle Road, Suite 2 in Bettendorf, you can call them with any of your questions at 563-449-9400. High Tech Signs and Apparel, proud sponsors of Muscatine Riverhawks football. This is the portion of our broadcast where you can see your ad in our next upcoming podcast or live stream game. The Muscatine Riverhawks provide a wide variety of sponsorship packages to cater the needs of your business. More information on these packages can be provided to you from Kyle Bass or Eric Johnson, and their contact information is 563-299-8334 or 309-721-5560. We look forward to your support this season, and as always, go Riverhawks.
To keep up with everything Muscatine Riverhawks, follow us on all social media platforms to see everything behind the scenes, weekly podcasts, and of course, our live streams of games every Sunday. You can follow us on Facebook at Muscatine Riverhawks Media Network, on Instagram at Muscatine Riverhawks, Twitter at Riverhawks_MN. You can follow us on YouTube at Muscatine Riverhawks Media Network, and then you can follow us on Snapchat at Riverhawks 2017.